Okay, today we're talking about B movies.
I do like a good B movie. Actually, we've been watching some great B movies recently.
Which made us excited to play this game. Because this is, I mean, look at the artwork. That says B movie. Hey everybody, I'm Joy Evans.
And I'm Alex Evans.
And today we are taking a look at A Touch of Evil. Now, this game has been out for a while. We actually have the 10-year anniversary. I think it's 10-year anniversary.
I believe so, yes.
On our shelf.
We do.
Unopened.
We do. That sounds about right.
Shelf of opportunity, we're calling it now.
Yes.
Not shame.
No shame.
Of opportunity. So when this game came out at Gen Con this year, this is the revised edition. And I have not played the original. From what I know, they just streamlined some things, very minor changes. So I thought this is a perfect time for it to hit our table. And this is very classic Flying Frog. This is the different pictures and photos and all that stuff has a very B-movie feel to it.
Yes.
So looking at this, you know you're not going into a heavy Euro.
True. You
Yes.
know, the cover alone should say that.
It really does. So now, speaking of what's in the box, before we talk about what we thought about it, let's see how it's played. Okay, we are set up for A Touch of Evil, the revised edition right here. Now, we're set up for 4 players here, and you can always go up against different villains. We are choosing the vampire right here. Now, before I get into this, this is going to be a brief overview to kind of give you a feel of the game. This is not going to be a full rules teach, okay? So this is just kind of give you a good feel of the game before we talk about what we think of it. First off, we are using the vampire here. That's what we're going up against. The whole thing is competitively. There's also co-op mode, but competitively, you're all going to work together to kind of get rid of a certain villain in the town. And this one, we have got the vampire. You've also got Spectral Horseman. You've got Scarecrow. You've got a werewolf. Each one of them plays differently. Now, speaking of differently, everybody has a different character. Here we've got Isabella Van Took, Henrik Cartwright, the drifter, Carl, the soldier, Victor Danforth, the playwright. And then you also have some other ones that aren't in this game. Katrina the outlaw, Inspector Cook, and Thomas the courier, and Anne-Marie the school teacher. So all these characters are things you can choose. One thing you're going to notice about this is the artwork, or the pictures, I guess, are very unique and kind of give you that nostalgic B-movie feel. Okay, so pretty much everybody's going to get their character. You're also going to get a player aid. Just like this, it's going to show the game round. There's also going to show what you can do on a hero's turn. And everyone's going to get 2 of these investigation tokens. These right here are pretty much currency. They're going to be what you use to buy certain things in the game. You can buy town items, and a lot of these items are going to help you throughout the, for instance, the horse here is going to help you move. And torch, you've got a pistol, it's going to help you with combat. And all of these, and these are going to cost, as a lot of things do, those investigation tokens. Now, this is pretty much going to be going down to skill checks. So first off, let's take a look at the Victor Danforth, the playwright. You'll notice 4 spirit, 4 cunning, and 1 combat. Not very good at combat. He's also got an honor of 3. So if there was a spirit, say there's a spirit 4+ test. That means he's going to roll his spirit, which would be 4 die, and he has to hit 4 or above to succeed on that test. If it was a cunning test, he'd roll 4 and still have to hit 4 and above. If it was combat, he'd only roll 1 die and have to hit 4 or above to pass that test. So each of these means that you're going to roll that number of die, and every single character is different. Now you're also going to have different abilities here. Creative thinking, when rolling for movement, draw an event card on the roll of 1 or 2 instead of just 1. And flair for the dramatic. Once per turn as an action, may pay 4 to take any card with quote marks in the title from the event discard pile. Okay, so first off, let's go to how the game is played. Again, we are going to want to try to get to this vampire, but you want to kind of level up and kind of power up your character first. And every single place on the board has different things you can do to kind of level up your character. And their characters are going to, or the villains are going to have different minions show up throughout the game. Bats, you got bats, wolves, Walking Dead, and succubus. So right here is going to show you all the different minions. Now this is the advanced game. There's a more simple game on the back, and the more advanced game here. All right, so we're going to go quickly through what a hero's turn will look like. First off, you're going to roll to move. Here we go. We're going to roll, and you roll a 3. In this case, you're going to then move 3, of course. Now, if this was a 1, you would, let's say it is a 1, you would take an event card because it kind of is a reward for being able to move so little. And thematically, it means you're going so slow, you get to kind of see something. So you get to find something on the way. Now, event cards are typically good. So we're going to say we move, let's see here, we've got the playwright. We're going to move him over here to the church. And this event card, play at any time except during a fight round to heal D6 wounds from a hero or D3 wounds from the villain. Or take an ally out of any discard pile. All right, so this event would then go with you. And there's no limit on how many events you can keep with you. However, there are limits on you going to have 1 from each of these area. And you can also only carry 3 town items at a time, which you can purchase later. So let me go real quickly about all of these different things you can do on your turn on all of these. So that is the event card here. So first off, that is move, and you're going to fight enemies. There are no enemies in your space. That would happen if you have one of these in your space, and you're going to take the actions. First, you're going to encounter the space, and that is mandatory. So on the church, you get to draw an event, which we would draw another event here. And then you can train your spirit. You pay 2 investigation, so this currency right here, and you would make an honor 5+ test. And if successful, you're going to gain +1 spirit. So what happens there is take a look. My honor is 3. I would roll 3 die. And on a 5+, I would then be able to get 1 extra spirit and place it here. And that would take my spirit from 4 to 5. All right, and the blacksmith over here, you get to draw an event, and you can also buy these town items that I spoke about earlier here as well. And magistrate office, you draw an event, then you can train your cunning over here. Same thing, pay 2 investigation, and you can get more cunning. Doctor's office, you can heal wounds here, or you can actually cure a curse. Then you can kind of branch out when you can go to the windmill and manor, and abandoned keep, and old woods. Now, why would you do that? Well, pretty much because these right here are going to allow you, once you're here, to draw these cards. These cards normally are good, but they actually could be bad too, especially these down here. But these cards tend to be better for you, but you are taking the risk of something bad happening. So let's take a look right here. For example, here, if I was down here in the old woods and I drew this, that is an axe +1 to combat. Discard to cancel any mystery card. And we'll get to those in a moment. So you've got all of these that could pop up down here, and they're very thematic as far as the old woods, abandoned keep. So you kind of read the theme on that and kind of feel that out. So, but a lot of these, again, like I said, are actually bad. So, all right, so these are all of these side areas here. So go with the hero's turn. You can also then collect any investigation tokens that are in your space. So if these were here, I could then take them back. You can also heal wounds at the cost of 3 tokens each. Now, it's cheaper here at the doctor's office. There's only 1 each there. Then you can look at secrets of a town elder for 2 investigation tokens. Now, that brings us up here to these town elders. Now, what are they? Each one of them has a secret underneath there. Why do you care about that? Well, pretty much because these guys can help you when you get to the final showdown with the main boss. But they all have a secret. Whatever's underneath there could actually make them more powerful. It could give an added benefit for you when you fight. So when you recruit people, you could recruit them if you know it's more powerful and will be a benefit of you. However, it could also mean they were evil. So for example, this right here is a secret. It's a good. This has no effect. It just has some kind of flavor text. But if that said it's evil, when she comes out, instead of helping you, she would turn to the other side and would now, in the showdown, male heroes are -1 fight dice, and the villain gets an extra +1 fight dice against female heroes. So then they would then all of a sudden switch and help the villain. So you want to know kind of who you're dealing with. So that is why right here you can actually look at the secrets of the elders for 2. And then you can also buy a layer card. Now, to buy a layer card, the cost of that is shown right here on the shadow track. Now, I haven't mentioned the shadow track yet. This right here is going to slowly move down as the different cards tell you to move it down. It'll also move down as the town elders. If they die, it could go down a couple there as well. But you're going to notice that the layer cost goes down or gets cheaper as it gets closer to the end. Because this guy, the bad guy, is going to win if it then passes 1 and you have not defeated him. So you're going to try to keep an eye on this shadow track. So buying a layer right here, this is a cost. Later it's going to cost 8, then 3, then 1. But you're also waiting till later to beat him. And then you're going to start a showdown. We're going to go to the showdowns in a moment, but we'll talk about that. That's the final big boss that's going to happen. Okay, so after the hero turns, you're going to go into the mystery phase. Now, at the start of the mystery phase, here's what's going to happen. First off, all the KO'd heroes are revived, I guess, and they're going to go ahead and come back. No one is ever completely out of the game. Then also the villain heals. If the villain is damaged, he's going to heal a D3. And then you're going to draw a mystery card. Here's where the game starts moving forward. For example, here it is. The villain has struck again. Place 3, just like this, 3 different investigation tokens on the board at a random location. And then move the shadow track 1 step closer to darkness. So that means this would happen. And to find out the random location, you're going to reach over here and grab the layer. Right here, the church. So 3 of those are going to go right here at the church. But then also notice the card I drew was the murder card. There are a few of these in the deck. Each villain is going to have something special that happens when a murder card is drawn. For example, this guy, Children of the Night. Anytime the mystery card murder is played, roll a d6. On the roll of 4+, put a succubus at the same random location as the investigation. So that would be right here. That would be one of the succubus right here. The minions would go also right there in the church. All right, so that's going to bring us over here to the minion chart. I'll mention that in a moment. Different of these mystery cards are going to tell you to roll a d6, and depending on the d6, it's going to tell you what to do. Dark influence right here, which would actually attack some of the town elders. Bats are going to place those out there on the board. Wolves, Walking Dead, and succubus. Now, let's go through a battle here. What's going to happen? So let's say we're going to go up against Walking Dead right here. So she's going to fight the Walking Dead. You'll notice here we've got Walking Dead fight die 4, meaning the Walking Dead are going to roll 4 fight dice, health of 4, and then a reward. If she is successful in defeating it, she's going to get 3 tokens. Now the abilities here are slow. This enemy's fight die only hit on rolls of 6 instead of the normal 5 or 6. Now, we're going to talk about combat for a moment. Combat, everything hits on a 5 or a 6 unless different player abilities or items change that. So right here, we're going to have 4 fight die for the zombie, or Walking Dead, I'm sorry. And then she is actually that's Isabella Von Took, and she is going to look at her combat, so she is going to get 3. So you compare, you roll 3, there we go. Oh, take a look at that. 2 hits right there. So you're going to take 2 hits, and you're going to drop them right there on the Walking Dead. And then it only hits on a 6, so nothing here hits. Now, she has got the option to retreat, to escape to an adjacent location or adjacent space. She doesn't want to do that. So she's going to go ahead and do it again. So here we go. Roll again. Boom! Just like that. And look at that. A 6. Do 1 more damage. Just like this. And then no 6s here. So she's got it. And then 1 more roll. Let's say she goes ahead and she actually succeeds in defeating this. And that would mean that she would now she'd defeat this right here, put it back, and she would get 3 investigation tokens, which again are currency, to put right back there on her card. So battling is very simple. It's just rolling die, 5 and 6 hits. Okay, so finally, how do you win the game? How do you actually fight the villain for the final showdown? Well, I mentioned before that one of the things you can do on your action is you buy a layer card, which is right here. Depending on the cost, you're going to get one of these layer cards. Now, these layers are going to tell you where you can fight the villain. And when you go to this location, for instance, this is marsh and 1. So say I'm over in the marsh and I pay 1. Then that's when I can fight the villain. And then it also gives an ability here at the start of the showdown, you must discard 1 item or ally. Each of these are different like that. Okay, so after you do that, you're going to then form a hunting party. So hunting party, you can actually grab 2 of the town elders. This is where it becomes important to have looked at their secrets earlier, because if you grab the wrong person and they're evil, they're not going to come to your side, they're going to come to their side, the villain side. So we did look at her earlier, so we can use her and say we're going to use this one, and then Reverend Harding here. We're going to take a chance right here and take a look right there. The secret. While part of a hunting party, roll a d6 at the start of each showdown fight round. On the roll of 1, 2, or 3, the town elder runs away screaming. Perfect. All right, excellent. But also he does have abilities here as well. So here, gain +2 fight dice versus any vampire, ghost, or demon. So that he's going to be very beneficial going up against the vampire. And Sophie here has an ability as well. May cancel any mystery card in play or event card as it is played on the d6 roll of 3+ each. Limit once per card while she's with you. And that's actually if you have her traveling with you. And then pretty much the way you're going to fight the vampire is the same way. You're going to go ahead. The vampire here is going to have 5 combat die. So you're going to grab 5 for them. And then say right here, say she has got 3 combat die. But then say she also has happened to get a weapon. And you've got +2 fight dice versus any vampire here. So you then will have a total of 6. All right, which actually you only have 5 here, but you can actually use one of these. So here we go, we roll, and 5s and 6s hit, and then over here, 5s and 6s hit it as well. Now, that will be the battle that takes place. There are also special rules for every villain. For example, the vampire here, mist form, for every hit done to the vampire, roll the d6. On the roll of 5 or 6, ignore the hit. All right, and then advanced abilities. Slip into the night if the hero does no wounds to the vampire on their attack during the showdown fight round. Roll the d6 and 4+. The vampire immediately escapes, canceling the remainder of the showdown. All right, so those are different abilities you can have too. Now, in between rounds, again, this person can escape if they don't want to continue fighting or if they get too wounded. Now, a couple other specific things in this final showdown. One of these dice will be rolled towards any elders that you do have. So say these guys did come, they would specifically say this die is for Sophie, this was for the Reverend. So if those hit, they would take out those as well. And there's also one round called the accusation round that happens after you reveal these secrets. Someone else can come forward and say, I accuse Dr. Manning of being evil. And if it's right, they flip it over and he is evil, then he's going to go ahead and jump over to the vampire side. They're going to pay 2 investigation tokens to do that. If they're wrong, they're going to lose all their tokens. Why would you do that? Because it's a competitive game. So if you know he's evil, you're going to out him and send him over to make sure that they don't win. Okay, again, that's just a very quick overview of the game, so you're going to keep going until somebody here kills the big bad. In this case, it is the vampire. There's a lot more to this because every single one of these cards is drenched in theme. It's all about the theme and reading the flavor text. I didn't want to go too deep into that because that's honestly part of the fun of the game is reading all of these and looking at those pictures and immersing yourself into the theme, as well as the different minion chart, everything here. They all fight like you think they should when you go to these different minions. So that's a very quick overview, not everything, about how to play A Touch of Evil. Let's send it back and see what we thought about it. Okay, so again, that's not all the rules. That is just a quick overview so you can kind of feel how the game is played. Did not put all the rules in there. There's a lot of little stuff that goes into it, so it gets a little more complicated than that, but not hugely.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of which, this is the stills on this. One thing you're going to look at this, and you're going to love it or hate it, the stills, the pictures on this. They're very, very Flying Frog.
They are. I think they're perfect. I think they're very thematic.
I do too, and I love the B-movie look, and I love... Yeah. I mean, that's really, it doesn't take itself seriously.
No, that's one thing I like about it. You see this and you go, okay, this is just a fun game.
Right. And I mentioned before how when you sit down to play this, if it's like silly, you're going to be like, I didn't know this was silly. And I'll be like, seriously? So it is very just, it's very just, it puts fun forward.
Absolutely. I can see this game being played, particularly this time of year. You've got a Halloween party, you've got some friends over, they want a light game. This is the game for this.
Right.
You know, even anytime throughout the year, you can just play just a fun game. You're hunting a monster, you know, there you go. What else do you need? That's
the thing. You can see how this game could drag. We'll talk about what we think about it now, too. You can see how it can drag sort of if you're really wanting like, okay, I want a big tech tree. I want this. I want that. I want that. You know, because at first, you're just kind of purely moving around, powering up in order to fight the big bag.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's what you're doing. You're trying to travel that board and trying to get those different events and things to help you to finally fight that big bad.
Absolutely.
That is what you're doing. There's no like little subplots in there.
No.
That's what you're going to do.
And that's one thing I did like about this game. I liked how to fight the big baddie, right? You have to get a layer card, right?
Right.
I do like, that's so thematic.
It's so thematic.
I really, really enjoyed that. That was awesome. I think that's great. And I love the little descriptions on the layer card. I feel like they're very thematic. That's one thing, too, about this game, right? That I like the flavor text, you know?
Yes.
I like reading that because it's so thematic. It helps you just get in the mood. I love that.
We play the one person who, it's like, you know if they're going to like it or not because they'll grab the card and they won't read the flavor text. They'll just read what they have to do.
No.
I'm like, you're missing the entire point of this game.
We need to read the flavor text all together.
Yes. I'll take it from them. Like, I will read it for you because this is what it's about.
Yes.
Now, this game is filled with cliches, which is great.
Yes.
I mean, you've got to know that going in. It's a gothic horror adventure.
Absolutely.
So now let's talk about also the town elders.
Yes.
The town elders at first, that kind of confused me. I'm like, okay, I don't understand. Why would you look at secrets of these town elders?
Yes.
But first of all, I love the fact that changes every game. And I also love the fact that changes in game. Mm-hmm. So you can look at a secret of a town elder and you'll be like, all right, so when I fight the big bad, I'm going to bring her out to help me. And then one other secret is put underneath there. And it's like, okay, I think I trust her, which kind of, for me, for B movies, it's like, okay, I trust that character. And you trust the whole movie. And then all of a sudden they come out of this bad guy's house and you're like, why were they in there?
What happened there?
Did they? Were they? What?
Yes.
So it's like it adds that kind of, okay, all right, I'm getting a feel for it.
I do enjoy the town elders too, for sure. Mm-hmm.
It's good. Now, again, this comes down to, it's not roll and move, but there's a lot of die rolling in it.
Yes.
And it's a lot of skill checks, which is same as Arkham Horror, all that stuff. There are skill checks in all of those games. So that happens here. So dice rolls, they can kill you.
They can.
You know, especially early in the game when you don't have those ways to mitigate. But as you power up, you can roll more dice and there's more ways to mitigate. And I don't like the complaint where it just comes down to a die roll. I have played some uber complex war games that come down to die rolls.
Absolutely.
You know, so dice are dice, man. And there are ways to mitigate it in here if you play it right. So it is very silly like that.
Absolutely. I do like that. I felt like sometimes event cards were helping you get more health, get more combat points, things like that, to help you with those dice rolls. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah, and this comes with a basic and advanced rule set. I would recommend anyone watching this just jump to advanced. You know, the basic I think are really basic. Advanced is not that advanced.
Yeah.
You know, it's still straight to the point and all that. Now, so going into this, you know, the rule set is very simple. It's a very beer and pretzel style game, and it's on the lighter side. But again, I love heavier games. I mean, we both do. You love heavy Euros. You know, I do as well. I love Hadrian's Wall. I love to dive into stuff like that and revive all this. But the fact this is lighter, games shouldn't be punished because they're light.
Yeah.
Because this just focuses on theme. You sit around with friends and you just have a blast going through this world.
Absolutely, for sure.
Now, there are a lot of expansions for this, and supposedly this revised edition is a great starting off point because this has been going on for 10 or 12 years, so there's a lot of stuff to catch up on. But if you're wanting to take a look at A Touch of Evil, this is a good way to get into it. Because in a day where you play mind-numbing game after mind-numbing game, it's fun to just sit there and then just really just play a game that drips with theme.
Absolutely, for
so
sure.
where are you coming in on it? Touch of Evil.
I'm coming in at a 7.5.
7.5. So you do like it, and you definitely pull it out on Halloween and around
Absolutely. I would pull this out for sure. I even think if I had some friends who were kind of interested in board games but weren't sure, but I know they like horror, then this would be a game for them.
That's right. I'm actually exact same, 7.5.
Yep.
And I can see it going higher with the expansion. I have not tried the cooperative mode. I'm just strictly competitive on this. People say that mode is great too. So that's something to do as well if you don't want to play competitively. But this is, looking at it, it's always intrigued me because it looks like it's very tongue-in-cheek, and it is what it is.
I love it.
So this is a seal of approval from us. This is A Touch of Evil. And you know what? A lot of you out there, I've seen the comments, love this game. So we're glad we're finally in it. And we will be taking a look at expansion soon.
Can't wait.
So, and this is October. So it's really good for this to hit the table because look at that guy.
Look at that guy.
Look at that guy.
Yeah.
So cute. All right. I'm Joey Evans.
I'm Alex Evans.
And we'll see you later on the channel.
Bye.
Hey,
folks, thanks for joining us for that video. If you haven't yet, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hey, make sure you check out what's happening, where I'll cover an app on an iOS or a Switch device, and you can check it out along with me. Thanks very much. You've been watching The Dice Tower.